Do I have a doozy of a conversation for you guys here today? Listen, the honorable, magnificent sister Shahrazad Ali is back doing interviews again, and recently a dope discussion was dropped. So guys, we're gonna go through it right now. What's so crazy is I was taking a look back on my channel when I had the opportunity to interview her. It was almost 2.5 years ago. So much has happened within that time. So many different arcs within the content where she was the progenitor of. Absolutely. Full stop. So we have a living legend still spitting game. So whatever you're doing right now, stop, slow down, go get your cup of coffee, go get your tea, get ready to share this link to your homeboys or your homegirl who's ready for this type of information, and let's get active. Without further ado.
From what I understand, you spoke to Kevin Samuels numerous times, and he acknowledged your work as being an inspiration for his views about relationships in our community, right? Did you agree with Kevin Samuels' approach?
No, I didn't agree with Kevin Samuels. He agreed with me. And he was always so respectful to me. And we were getting ready to do something, though.
Yeah.
We were going to do a big thing in Atlanta. And then he went and died. So I guess that wasn't supposed to happen. But, Kevin, the book woke him up.
Yeah.
And it gave him the courage to discuss and address these things since I had did it and had put out the blueprint.
Yes.
And so he...
Let me just be clear. Put out the blueprint 30 years ago. Sometimes I think about her impact and what it is that she was reviled for when she created it in the 80s. And I just think to myself that I wish that it was 30 years later. Because think about where we've come from the 80s until now, where we have legitimate rap artists releasing their own S-tapes, shout out to Sexy Red, on their Instagrams to continue to promote themselves, their image, and their brand. Because that's their image now. They complain about being objectified, but release content that objectifies them. Literally insane that content like this is readily available for us to consume. And even though you had her books that were released 30 years prior, it still ended up here. But at the time, media was not decentralized. So they canceled her. Way more difficult to be canceled nowadays because the information that you see is not controlled by a couple of people on top. Anyway, let's keep going.
Was a bit crude. I had told him I didn't think he would be successful because of how he was going about it. But he told it the way he saw it, and he was not successful. He was successful in his platform, getting hundreds of thousands of people, 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 people were, tuning in to hear him and his comments. But I don't know. I'm sure it benefited some of the women because it put us in check about what we think our overrated value is. Okay, and we think we have a greater value because we think that we are in charge of sex. Okay, and most men will just about do anything or go along with anything if they think that. Well, that's changing.
Yeah.
Okay?
Sure is.
That is not all completely the way it was. This is the thing I wanted to mention, and I don't usually talk about this. When I say that we're living in trends, the messenger talked about when we get out of control or too savage, that we live in a beast life. Okay. Our younger people, that children of the future there, are living somewhat of a beast life. Because the new trend now, and I only know about this because they put it out there in the public on the Instagram and the internet and on the Facebook and everything. One of the things that scientists say separates the humans from the animals is that humans mate face to face. Animals mate from the rear. Well, it's popular now that that's what they're all doing, mating from the rear and doing all kind of other distasteful things and calling it sex. That's a bad sign. Okay. There's a different connection, as we all know, of face-to-face than another kind of way. People are getting hurt. They're each other. in each other's mouth, doing all kind of things that would never, ever have been considered as sexual pleasure. There's something wrong in that.
Yeah.
I don't know how long they're going to be practicing that, and they're even doing oral sex in people's in their hands, all kind of stuff, crazy stuff. And I'm talking about it because we need to know, and we need to start trying to teach something differently. Okay.
There's gonna be a lot of words I'm gonna have to edit out due to YouTube guidelines. Just as I talked about before, you have famous people releasing content like that. It makes it so much easier to get tuned in or tapped in to what people are doing. But at the same time, people want to make more money by uploading more egregious content. Why? Because it's interesting and generates more eyes to it. So you begin to get in a nasty cycle of more extreme, more, to the point where the most vilest of acts begin to desensitize you. You guys know growing up in the 90s and shit, right? Like, you know how difficult it was to see naked people? Like, I remember living in New York or walking by the goddamn newsstands and like eyeing to the right, because I don't want to make it seem like I was actually looking at the newsstands when I was walking with my parents and shit. I used to eye to the right to try to get a sneak peek of a titty on like a Penthouse magazine. You know what I'm saying? Or like you have to go to like the library and see titties on statues or something like that. But besides that, there was just no way to see anything. Okay? Now you open up your local Twitter and you see the most vile and disgusting shit that anybody can click on. And to think that that's not having an impact on the way that we consider relationships today. I mean, shit, watching porn and substituting it for sex is like watching WWE wrestling and substituting it for jujitsu. One is fake and one is real.
That's not no love. That's not no showing of love. That's something crazy. And the girls are accepting it. The young women are being choked, or somebody spitting in their mouth.
They're asking for it. Let's correct that.
All kind of insanity things, and they calling it sex. That ain't no sex. I don't know what kind of beast life that is.
Beast.
But that's another trend that I hope passes, because that's taking it to such a low level. Where can it go after that?
Yeah.
And
Under
how
the
long,
titty of
then,
Satan.
will generations think that that's affection? So that's a very bad sign, I think. And that the young women think that that's natural, as I said, that they going along with this, and that the men are tiring really of them at all. They don't even want to look at them. And I'm concerned about that, and I think we all should be.
I just wanted to touch on the Kevin Samuels thing one more time. Do you believe he helped bring interest into your works with a new generation?
No, I don't think so. I think it just, it was so personally, individually critical. I don't think that ever helps. I think you have to be civilized in your asking and telling. And I don't think that that kind of overly criticism of an individual, each person individually, no, that does not help, especially publicly. As I said, we already got low self-esteem. And that don't mean build us up on some false bravado. I don't mean that. But I mean, we just have to be more gentle with each other. We are damaged creatures.
Let me reword it. I apologize. I wanted to ask, do you think his work brought more attention to your book?
I think it did.
With a new generation, with a younger generation that probably didn't know about
I'm
your
not
work.
sure. See, the other thing is, remember, we're in a society where they're teaching against reading. All right, everybody either want to hear it or see it. So reading is not as popular. So I'm not sure if it worked that way.
If I was to give an opinion, I would say yes. I think that Kevin reaching the popularity that he did was beyond the reach and popularity of Sister Shahrazad Ali. From a ratio perspective, if you consider what she reached to in the 80s versus what he reached to in the 2020s. And by proxy of reaching Kevin, you might reach me, you might have seen our interview, it might have reached a whole new audience. I've had countless people that have sent me emails thanking me for interviewing her, because now that they've read her works of art. And let me also continue to shout out, guys, take your phones out right now and scan this right here, all right? I got her books right here. The first one that I got was this one right here, The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. And then I got her follow-up right here, The Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man. Now, if you go and you scan that with your phone down there, you can go to her eBay site and be able to pick up her books. I want to continue to promote it because fantastic works of art that I think should be in damn schools, to be honest with you. But I want to make this clear. In my conversations with Kevin, Kevin thought the absolute world of Sister Shahrazad Ali. But in my interview with Sister Shahrazad Ali, I picked up that she didn't like Kevin's methodology.
Sales have been impacted on a lot of things. You know, that must be 50 books out called The Black Man's Guide and The Black Woman's Guide. You know, so many people have copied my title. So I'm not sure it worked that way. I'm still selling books, and he's still, I'm sure, there's still brothers out there now trying to take his place. So that's just, you know, the way that turned out. He got me, I think, more attention for me, toward me as a writer.
Oh, I
as a
see.
Sister.
Yeah.
You know, but I know my place in the world, and I'm just a woman. That's not an insult. That's not a put down. But I am not a man. See, God is a man. You represent God, and I tell black women the closest you may ever get to God is being with a black man, because he looks more like you than me. And we have so many things out here affecting our respect and image of self. That's the other reason black women don't want to believe that the black man is God, because they think the black man they know ain't nothing, and that y'all ain't nothing, so there ain't no way you could be God. In fact, you have some brothers who have surrendered, and they walking around talking about the black woman is God. Some more absurd, silly nonsense that we waste our time on.
When did that start, this notion that the black woman was God?
Well, they're
capitalists.
Have surrendered. It can't be me, because I can't do nothing. I ain't got nothing and look like she more successful or whatever. And so we just decide then she must be God. That's what a man do. Damn. I don't know no man that would decide that. And I try to correct every brother I run into about that. They think they complimenting me by saying the black woman is God. But I'm not God, and I don't want that job.
There's something about listening to her speak that makes me want to perform better as a man. There's something so calming about her voice. She's so knowledgeable. She's so intelligent. She's so articulate. Do y'all feel the same thing that I feel right now? Give me a comment down below if you guys feel something similar.
Okay, I got enough to do. I don't want that responsibility, and I don't have that power.
I wanted to touch on, before we get to the last two questions, I want to touch on something you said where you said black women, they don't see much in black men, right? And from personal experience, what I noticed that even if you're I don't know these terms they use, highly performing, even if you're just a great guy, right? They still can't see the greatness in you.
They still what?
They still struggle to see the greatness in you if you're a great person.
Well, as I said, we've been all taught against each other so hard. We have to talk more. Now, that's one thing Kevin did. He got more black men speaking out about their dissatisfaction.
Yes.
Well, dissatisfaction produced change. One of the changes has been more of our men are going offshore seeking other women who they say know how to act more like a woman. All right? It's like we'll tell a man, everything you do, why don't you act like a man? When you all have never challenged our womanhood, you all have never told us, why don't you act like a woman? It's not in you. But we'll tell you real quick, why don't you act like a man? Well, how do we know what a man act like? Most of us didn't have a father. We didn't have a model. We only saw fathers on television and in movies. And they gave us certain ideas that white people have that they themselves don't live up to. Okay? Their fatherhood is built on them being able to provide. And they kept you from being able to do that so that you could not have that. And that's another reason I say that we have to teach our men how to be fathers, how to deal with babies, how to change a diaper, how to do all of those things. You made that. That's your idea. So you need to be a part of how it's going to be reared and how to handle it. Many of our brothers now ending up with their children because many of our women, sometimes they have them, and then after, 5 or 6 years, they decide, I don't want to be no parent no more, and so they giving the child away to the father. And then sometimes the fathers are trying to get their children, and you all have a very difficult time because the enemy don't want you to be able to do that, be involved with that, because they are so used to pretending that they're on our side. They're not on our side. The white woman is not on our side because we also think that she's nicer. It's better to deal with her. That's his mother. She's not on our side.
I was gonna ask.
That's his mama.
There is the idea floating around, guys. I know interracial dating for numerous reasons. So I'm not saying every black man with a white woman has views the white woman as superior. I don't want to say that. I don't know if that's the case. So I won't say that publicly, right? But there is an idea circulating that white women are nicer than black women.
Well, they are, because they haven't gone through what we have. They don't have the history we have. Why shouldn't she be nice? I remember one time I was in New Orleans doing a program, and we came out of this restaurant, and there was a white woman sitting on the curb, middle-aged white woman, and she was begging for change and everything. I said, I'm not giving you nothing. You a white woman, you got everything at your disposal that you could have in this country, and you sitting out here begging. And I told my party, don't give her nothing. I said, y'all just need to get up and go somewhere and clean yourself up and be white, and you'll get something going, all right? If not, if one of these stupid Negroes will get with you, but you got to clean up and do better than that. I say, but so she has certainly a better opportunity. Now, lower class white woman is not going to agree with that. She thinks she's having it as hard as black people. In fact, she thinks we the reason she having it hard, all right? But it's really not like that. That white privilege that they talk about is real. That's very real. And we practice a little of it with each other on the lighter skins and the darker skins. We ate every idea they fed us, we ate it. Even though it was all against self, they taught us to want that. And we still continuing to do that now. We have learned to practice the technology they practice, and so we have distrust of each other. You gonna trick me, or I'm gonna trick you. Just all kind of nonsense that we cannot dig up out of it until we give them their God back. We can't do it. It's just impossible. You can't hold on to everything that they stand for and then say you're going to make a change, because everything that they stand for is designed to destroy us.
And using our standards based on their standards, I think is also a big...
Because they're not the same. They're not the same. Your nature's not the same as his. We keep pretending that they're human and have the natural feelings of sympathy and everything. They don't have none of that. It's not in them. You have it in you. Nobody never saved nobody but you. And you have been beat down and so discouraged that it's very difficult. But I want you to know that you will be the winner. You are the original man. God didn't make everybody and then make you. He made you first, and everybody was modeled after you on some level. Uh-huh. That's real talk. That ain't to soothe your ego. These are actual facts that if we could get our men to understand and accept. And I know it don't look like it now. I know some of the guys in the gutter. I know some of them in prison. Some of them on drugs. Some of them out here acting ignorant. Some of them pretending to be a woman. But that does not change the foundation of who you are and who made you, who is on your side, and who will pay the enemy back for what he has done to us.
Regarding her comments about white women being generally nicer, I agree. If you raise a pit bull in a loving home, well, that will be a loving pit bull. But if you raise a pit bull to fight, if you raise a pit bull in challenge, if you raise a pit bull without feeding it, it will be aggressive. It will learn to fight, and it will defend itself. But just as the great sister said, that's what happens when you are a tortured people. And I think far too often, the lot of us continue to act like we're more tortured than what we actually are. Along with sexual perversion being a trend in modern times today, there's also a large modern trend around victimhood mentality. No matter what that you're up against, do understand that your future relies in your hands. No one's going to be here to fix you. The world owes you nothing. The world doesn't owe you understanding. The world doesn't owe you blessings for doing good deeds. You are owed nothing. So if you are not dedicating your time to being the most awesome version authentically within yourself, then you are simply wasting your time. We all have finite times on this planet. And I think that the concept of that, I began to understand Throughout all of the calamity or tragedies throughout my life, through the passing of my father. My father was an amazing man, and to have his life cut short due to an illness, the way that it was, helped me understand that we're not owed anything. So if we're not utilizing the time within our life to be the most awesome during our short existence on this planet, then what is the damn point of it? Understand what's going to make you happy within your life and do everything in your power, all of the actions to get the intended result that you want in your life, no matter if you're a man searching for his purpose or if you're a woman who wants to get married one day, because faith without works is dead as hell. Shout out again to Sister Shahrazad Ali. I just love hearing her speak. Literally a living legend, and it was very interesting to hear her comments regarding Kevin. Guys, I'm gonna also leave a link down to her eBay store down in the description box down below to continue to support her, all right? Questions, comments, concerns, y'all already know what to do. Mediocre Tourism Reviews at gmail.com. Guys, continue to send me content like this. I love going over videos like this that you guys find all across the internet. If you want me to utilize my platform to push ideas out there, then let it be. Until next time, YouTube.